Here is an event that left a record in a hospital around 1864. Doctor, save me. Save us. So the hospital official, Nurse Margaret, placed the patient. Laying in this, I have work to do. Sir, I'm in so much pain. Save me. Don't scream. You're not alone. The teacher turned to look at the screaming patient. Nurse Margaret says she sees pregnant patients crying out for their babies every day. Suddenly, the scream disappeared. He suddenly died without moving as he stared at the teacher with red eyes and bared teeth. Then Nurse Margaret went into the patient's room and started testing. I have no life anymore. Nurse Margaret tried to close the dead woman's eyes. Can't close. It seems to have left a grudge. The owner of the patient came. Take me back from the hospital. After the abortune, the mother died, and when she came to the hospital corridor at night, she heard a shuffling sound. The hospital has male and female toilets and showers. 2 rooms for teachers, built together. Nurse Margaret left duty after informing her colleague that she needed to go to the bathroom when Mrs. Margaret passed in front of the ladies' toilet. He heard crying. It was like screaming in pain. Mrs. Margaret went in and looked. The toilet has double doors on the outside and a tank inside for female patients to bathe in. From there are only 3 toilets. The teacher heard a voice, opened the door, and went in after hearing a cry for help. Mrs. Margaret entered. I don't see anything. The voice disappeared. So, I opened the door to the women's restroom. No one. I really heard it just now. He got out and crossed the brick pool to one side of the pool. When I heard the sound, I walked towards the lakey. Then he looked down into the lakey. A woman with scary eyes suddenly appeared from the lake, grabbed Margaret by the hair and started to dive into the water. Margaret struggled, but she didn't give up. He slowly sinks into the lake, and Margaret begins to drown. Not long. A woman goes to the toilet and finds Margaret in the pool. Dead in the lake. People came because of her screams. Margaret's death is not honest, hospital staff said. According to their Christian tradition, Mrs. Margaret was well buried. After Margaret's death. In the following days, at night, I could hear footsteps outside the bathroom. People hear different voices. One night, a pregnant woman went to the toilet alone without a friend. Her family members followed her because she was taking too long to go to the toilet. She was amazed at the sight. Oh, God. A pregnant woman is dying with her head down in the lake. Because of this, pregnant women often die in this hospital. The doctor warned that every time you go to the toilet, 2 and 3 go together. First, the defendant in Margaret's case has yet to appear. Now another one is dead. One day, 2 women came to the hospital. The pregnant woman said she was going to the bathroom and left with her partner. On the other side, I heard a knocking sound from the bathroom. The toilet door in that room is damaged. The door of the toilet is permanently closed. One of the 2 women came to use the toilet. Do you hear the door knocking in front of the toilet over there? Yes, I heard. Open the door. A big head came out of the closed door. Ghost. 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 In the toilet, there is a ghost. A pregnant woman gets up from going to the toilet. Suddenly, in a hurry, my friend, "Come on, we're going out." It's like a puzzle. The next day, a pregnant woman arrived at the hospital. The nurse told me to come to the hospital the next day because my sister still needs time to give birth. However, she said that she would be staying at the hospital because she had to come from far away. The pregnant woman was about to go to the toilet. Be careful, the toilet is always wet, so be careful not to slip. Then a pregnant woman. Yes, I'll be careful. The pregnant girl left the room to go to the toilet without calling her mother in her 50s. He came to the back of the hospital to ask where the toilet was. Then I saw a nurse and asked from behind, "Ma'am, where's the toilet?" The teacher pointed to the toilet without looking back. The toilet is near here. I went to the toilet and went to the brick basin to wash my hands. I heard footsteps and looked back. The nurse was behind him. He pulled the pregnant woman's hair from her head and dipped it in water. "Oh, don't do it." At that time, the nurse asked, "Where did your daughter go, Auntie?" She answered that she went to the toilet. "Towards the toilet did you go alone?" The nurse put the items in her hands on the table and left the room. He ran into the house. I opened the door and went in. No one was there. I saw a pregnant girl pulling her hair from her head and dragging her into the water. Suddenly the nurse shouted, "Hey, Margaret, what do you do to my patient?" "This is not your patient. If a nurse is 30 seconds late, she couldn't live anymore. Mrs. Margaret hates pregnant girls, thinking she killed a pregnant woman. If pregnant girls come alone, they are probably waiting to kill." The farthest of the 3 women's toilets seems to have the ghost of a woman in abortion and death. Therefore, no one dares to go to the toilet. To prevent it from going completely, I had to close it with 2 long pieces of wood and iron in the shape of a cross. Warning: don't peek into a dangerous hole. Warning: written. Even after that warning, about 3 female patients, who were laughing and happy, came to watch from the toilet. He saw a tall woman come out. They were scared and ran away. One day in the hospital, the Christian teachers prayed according to the Christian tradition. After doing that, I no longer see ghosts hiding in the toilet. Thank you for all.